In this video, we will cover the following topics. Configuring a machine profile. Adding a blade to the tool library. Adding a Waterjet to the tool library. Adding an ultra-compact blade to the tool library. Tool library locations. If a machine profile has not yet been created, you will be reminded to create one when starting AlphaCam. To set up a machine profile, select the My Part Config tab, and then select My Machine Profiles. A machine configuration window will open. Click the drop-down arrow on the machine model field. From the drop-down list, select the appropriate machine model. Select the name field, and enter the name of the machine. Select the folder icon next to the table template field, and select the appropriate template for your machine. Select the folder icon next to the post processor field, and select the appropriate post processor for your machine. The default MPF, DXF location, is the location that AlphaCam will send the G-code that is created for the job. The material thickness section allows you to choose the thickness of the material, either 2 cm, 3 cm, or a custom thickness. Place a dot next to the type of table you have for your machine. Place a check mark in the Enable Waterjet Miter box if the Waterjet Miter option was purchased. If there is not a check in this box, you will not be able to program Waterjet Miter cuts. Once the machine profile has been configured, tools can be added to the tool library. To add a new tool, click on Add. A new tool window will open. Click on the drop-down arrow next to the tool type field, and select whether you want to set up a blade, or a Waterjet. A blade will always be tool number 1, and a Waterjet will always be tool number 2. To add a blade, make sure the tool type shows blade, and the tool number field shows tool number 1. Select the Start button. In the name field, enter the name of the blade. Make sure the number field is populated with a 1. Enter the diameter of the blade. This diameter is what AlphaCam uses to calculate blade over travel when auto tool pathing. Enter the blade curve. AlphaCam uses this value to calculate the distance between common cuts and distance from a geometry line. This ensures accurate part sizes. The RPM value can be changed if the variable frequency drive motor option was purchased. The limits are 1000 to 2500 RPM. Rapid plane is the height in inches that the blade will travel from cut to cut, while a program is running. The final cut depth is the depth that the blade will drop in the Z-axis while making straight and miter cuts. In this example, the depth is set to travel 1/8 of an inch below Z0. When auto tool path is used, AlphaCam computes the distance required to prevent the blade from cutting into an intersecting geometry. This drawing shows the computed distance. If the AlphaCam entered value of the diameter matches the physical diameter of the blade being used, the blade would always stop before entering the next geometry. If a mistake is made, for example, if the physical blade has a larger diameter than the AlphaCam programmed value, the blade would not stop in the appropriate location. That is why a safety distance is added to the blade when setting it up in the software. This prevents the blade from making unwanted overcuts into adjacent geometries. The parameters set for plunge rates and feed rates are managed in these fields. There are straight cut feed rates, miter cut feed rates, and arc cut feed rates. Down feed is the parameter for blade plunge rate, and cut feet is the rate of travel while the blade is cutting the material. In the step cutting section, you can determine whether you want the blade to step cut for straight cuts, miter cuts, or both. If a step cutting box is checked, AlphaCam will use the step cutting feature when this blade is selected for tool pathing. When programming a blade continuous arc, the depth per cut parameter is used for each step of the arc cut. Make sure that your blade is capable of bidirectional cutting before putting a check mark in bidirectional. You can set up the same physical blade with different parameters, depending on the material you are cutting. Once all of the parameters have been entered, select Save and Close. The new tool will now show in the tool list. These parameters can be edited anytime, by clicking on the tool, and editing the parameter fields. To add a Waterjet to the tool list, click on Add. The new tool window will open. Click on the drop-down arrow, and select Waterjet as the tool type. Make sure you enter 2 in the tool number field. Select Start. Name the Waterjet. In most cases, ending the name with the cut feed works well. Make sure there is a check mark in the Waterjet pierce box. This enables a low-pressure pierce when modifying the lead in, lead out when programming. Enter the desired cut feed, and click on Save and Close. You will now see that the new Waterjet parameters have populated the tool list. To delete a tool, select Delete. A Delete tool window will open. Click on the tool you wish to delete. A verification window will open. Click on Yes, and then close the window by clicking on the X in the top right corner. You can edit a tool in the tool list by selecting the tool and editing the parameters in the window. After editing, click on Save and Close. To use the Ultra Compact feature in the Saberjet toolbar, you must first set up an Ultra Compact blade. To set up an Ultra Compact blade, click on Add, and select Ultra Compact on the drop-down list. Click on Start. A window will open to enter parameters for Ultra Compact cutting. The information in the top section remains the same as setting up a blade. Name the blade so you can identify it as a blade set up for Ultra Compact cutting when tool pathing. The straight feeds, miter feeds, arc feeds, and step cutting remain the same as setting up a regular blade. These feed rate parameters will probably be slower and more specific, based on the type of sintered material being cut. In the compact cutting section, the ramp in and ramp out parameters work together to control the feed rate speed at the beginning and the end of cuts, for both straight cuts and miter cuts. You can populate the feed box with a specific feed rate speed, or adjust the percentage cut feed to adjust to the desired ramp in and ramp out feed rate. An entry in one of these boxes will automatically calculate the value in the other. In this example, if the value in the percentage cut feed box is changed to 50 from 30, you will notice the value in the feed field will change to 55, which is 50% of the programmed feed rate of 110. The distance box determines the length of the cut that the machine will use at the slower feed rate percentage. Once the parameters have been entered, click on Save and Close. The new Ultra Compact blade will now show in the tool list. The tools in the Saberjet XP library can be manipulated in 2 different locations. A change in one location will also change it in the other. Location 1. Click on the My Part Config tab, and then click on My Machine Profiles. Select the Saberjet XP Machine tab. Using the tool list on the right side of the window, a blade or waterjet can be added. Edits to the tools can be made. And tools can be deleted. Location 2. Click on the Saberjet toolbar, and select Tool Select. A window will open containing the tools in the tool library. Using this list, a blade or waterjet can be added. Edits to the tools can be made. And tools can be deleted. This location is generally used to select tools before using Auto Tool Path when writing a program.